My 26F husband, 30M, wants an open marriage and now I can't look at him the same. We have been together 2 years and married 4 months. When we were dating, our sex life got hot and heavy very quickly and felt like a lot revolves around sex. That fizzled after about 2 months and then we rarely had sex after that. I don't have the strongest sex drive, but it made me feel like he wasn't attracted to me anymore. When I'd ask, he'd just say it was because he was having issues getting hard, which was true, and that sex wasn't really that important to him. He'd go on to explain how in past relationships it'd be the same, that he'd get bored quickly and not be as into sex once the newness wore off. As hurt as this made me, sex wasn't super important to me either, so I looked past it because our relationship is solid in all other areas. For the first 3 months of our marriage he wouldn't have sex with me. I felt so defeated and like a loser, to be honest. Why wouldn't he sleep with his wife? Did I get into a sexless marriage? He's been dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression, and once we started working on that, his sex drive came back, in full force I might add. It was honestly hard for me to keep up. He has always told me he likes it rough, which isn't my thing, but I wanted to try new things with him and make him happy. Well, last night we were making out and I started to go down on him. He really likes to pull me hair and it does nothing for me, but I'm usually fine with it. This time, however, he yanked my head in a weird way, so I let out an "ow." He immediately lost interest after that, which got me really upset. I started telling him how ridiculous he can be, and after a bunch of talking he let out that he wants an open marriage. My heart sank. How can I not be enough for him? I do everything for him. And even with our sex life I've been nothing but open, and he just gave up on me so quickly. It's only been about 3 weeks since we started things up again. I burst into tears and have barely stopped crying since. This is such a deal-breaker, but marriage is sacred to me and I'm not just going to give up on him. He is still the love of my life, so divorce is not my answer, but how can I get over this paranoia? I'm afraid he's going to cheat on me now, and I don't know if I'll ever stop imagining that. I travel a lot for work, so it would be super easy for him to do. I usually move on from things quickly, but I'm stuck and so unsure how to live the rest of our lives knowing he wants to have sex with other women. Edit. Thanks to everyone who has provided advice and words of encouragement. Wanted to clear a few things up. 1. When I say I do everything for him, I'm being a tad dramatic. Didn't realize y'all would run with that so much. He contributes to cooking and cleaning and financially as well. I definitely don't do it all, but I meant I do so much for him both physically and emotionally too. We didn't rush to get married. Although we have only been together 2 years, we had been friends for a very long time before then. I have seen him have previous relationships and there were never red flags pointing to open relationships. 3. He truly makes me feel loved and amazing in every other way, which is also why I do not want a divorce. He is truly the love of my life, but him bringing this up was just a total shock. 4. I did confront him this morning and pretty much told him it's me and only me or I'm out. I told him to take time and think on it, even though his immediate choice was me. I just want him to be sure. 5. He's not already cheating on me. He's a homebody and we both WFH together, so not really out and about much on his own. Marriage is sacred to you. You do everything for him, won't give up on him, blah blah. That's all fine, but he does not feel the same about you. There's nothing you can do about the fact that he wants an open marriage. It's not that you aren't enough. If you're not okay with an open marriage, this is over emo. I'm suspicious he has low sex drive, can't maintain an erection, and wants to have sex with other people. You already said you won't divorce him, but what's left? You're already doing your half and his half. You can't do more to fix it than you already are. For your relationship to work, the remaining work needs to be done by your partner. Get a divorce. If he wants an open marriage, your marriage with him is effectively over. He's outright telling you that a monogamous relationship with you isn't what he wants, needs. Absent extensive couples counseling and an incredibly unlikely change from him, this isn't going to end well. He will end up cheating or you'll end up with a dead bedroom relationship. You need to confront him ASAP and tell him an open relationship isn't happening, and if you aren't enough to satisfy him, it's time to call it quits. You can sit on your high horse of marriage being sacred and not giving up, or you can be happy in life. Those two things very rarely coincide. My 24M girlfriend, 24F, is flying to a different city to visit guy friend. The girl that I'm seeing is flying to a different state to visit a guy she met 1.52 years ago. She claims they are just friends and nothing has ever happened between them and won't. but thinks she has told me points that he has some level of interest in her. They met at the gym when he approached her and complimented her form, and they continued to talk at the gym for some time before he moved away. That alone makes me believe that he was hitting on her. She has admitted that he has called her attractive, beautiful, etc. I have no idea of the dynamic of their friendship outside of what she has told me, as I don't know the guy. Regardless, I feel uncomfortable with this happening and expressed my concern, which was met with her defending her decision to go, even though she says that my concern is valid and she understands why I feel this way. She has already booked her flight and told me that she's going and I can decide if I want to be with her still after she returns, insinuating that she would choose going to see him over continuing our relationship. I haven't specifically said that I don't want her to go, just that I am uncomfortable with it, but that she can do what she wants as I don't want to control her. How would you handle this situation? Should I try a different approach to talking about this? If so, then how? I am in love with her, but the fact that she said she would choose taking the trip over continuing the relationship, even though I never asked her to make that choice, makes me feel as though there's competition. Too long did not read. Girlfriend flying to different city to visit guy friend and I am uncomfortable with it. This has caused tension in the relationship and I am unsure how to move forward. Edit. I should mention that she told me she will be staying in a hotel, not with him. She also visited him last year before me and her became serious, exclusive. She claims they didn't do anything then either, but this is the second time she will visit, but now we are exclusive. Update. Rather than just saying I am uncomfortable with the trip, I stated that if she goes I won't be here when she gets back. I didn't tell her not to go, just simply that the choice is hers, but I will not be with her if she does. There was some civil back and forth, but ultimately she pulled out her phone and told me she cancelled the trip. For everyone saying that she would have invited me or should have invited me, that wouldn't have been possible since I will be away during the time of her trip. Although she could have planned for a time when I was available, I still think that would have been awkward considering the dynamic of her friendship with this guy, which started before we became serious, and the fact that I don't know him. Ultimately she is not going and I told her we still need to discuss the fact that she didn't respect my boundary from the start. We are still relatively new and still figuring each other out. All is not forgiven, but I appreciate her cancelling and working to understand my point of view of the matter. I appreciate the help from everyone. She told you exactly what you need to do, she is choosing him over you. She wants to act single, tell her she will be when she gets back. She want to meet him and decide if she needs to dump you. Why wait to find out you are the backup plan? Just let her know you're not a backup, you move on and find someone that stops looking for the one when they look at you. That's what we all hope for. There's no competition, man. She chose him. A guy she met in the gym a couple of years ago. If she's keeping you around at all, it's as a backup plan in case this visit doesn't lead to a future with him. Yikes. That dude stole your girlfriend. Move on. My girlfriend brought a straight male friend for coffee. Opinions? I'm 24M and she's 23F. So basically I've been with my girlfriend for 5.5 years, she's 23 and I'm 24. I know she's not cheating on me. Just she is mates with a guy and they went for coffee another day and I said, you'd want to make sure not to give him the wrong idea. Then we got into an argument and I said that I had a problem with her going on a date with a straight single guy. Both of them on their own, I don't like the idea of it. This guy doesn't pose a threat, but it's the first time something like this has happened, so I said I'd nip it in the bud in case one day it's a good-looking guy and I'm really not happy with it. My girlfriend is 10 out of 10 looks wise and I said that if this lad is straight, given half a chance he'd sleep with her, that's fine. So I let her know how I feel and she's having none of it, tells me I'm insincere and controlling and that she's scared and worried about her future. Now his is where I get mad, to put this into perspective. I'm 6.1 inches and I'm a good-looking lad, not being cocky, but I am. I'm in very good shape as I'm massive into the gym. I have my finances in place and I have a degree in law and account and a good job. I'm loyal and faithful and I treat this girl like the Dame Queen. I pay for everything, cook her breakfast every time she's over and take her out for dinner, we get on great. I don't ask for anything in return. So when I said I have a problem with you going for coffee with this dude, am I out of line? Bear in mind when women talk to me I don't really engage, I don't want to give them the wrong impression. Women that add me on Snapchat and Insta I don't add back. I don't follow any girls, as I don't want to fight. I'm sure as fuck do not go on dates with women as I find it disrespectful AF. Now me trying to stay as calm as possible say to her that I don't have a problem with them being friends and by all means stay friends. Stay texting and calling each other. I don't care. And if ye are both in college, go for lunch. But what I didn't like, she drove out of her way like 15 kilometers to have a coffee with this dude she only knows a couple of months. I even said maybe we should sit down and talk and lay out the do's and don't, lay out boundaries. But she's not having any of it. I literally offered to pay for her master's, which is $11K, and brought her back from a $6K holiday which I paid for everything. I feel like this is such a kick in the teeth. Am I being irrational or controlling in any way? Please give honest feedback as this is driving me insane. You should edit your post and add that you've been trying to meet with her and she's been ghosting you. Not the asshole after I read those comments. You need to work on yourself. It's coffee with a friend. That's it. Is she really not allowed to hang out with her male friends? You're being ridiculous. Either this is a shit post or you're definitely possessive, insecure and controlling. You are essentially telling her she can never talk to any other guys ever because everyone will try to fuck her. If she doesn't even want to humor your boundaries or discuss your feelings for a second, that's an enormous red flag. It doesn't even matter if you're being insecure or not. The bigger issue is she doesn't respect you. Also, did she give a reason why she made time for this guy and not you? And I find it really sketchy that she told you she was going out with a female and went out with a male instead. And accidentally posted a pic with him. There's definitely something off there. 29F. Saw a message where my husband, 29 male, states he regrets not getting back with his ex. My husband, 29 male, and I, 29 female, have been together since we were 16 years old but have known each other since we were 14. At that time he was dating a girl who he states he really fell in love with. Things didn't work out for reasons he only knows, but he would talk about her from time to time and I didn't really care. In my head I always knew he would have some sort of feeling towards her since she was his first love. Forward 10 years later in 2019 his ex-SADLV passed away due to DV. When my husband found out was the day we were moving into our new home. He tried to act as if nothing was wrong but I could tell he was upset. When we took a break for lunch I told him he was allowed to cry. I believe he was trying to hold in his sadness thinking I would get mad, but when I talked to him about expressing his feeling he cried and I just let him cry as much as he needed. A few days later I told him he was able to go to her funeral if he pleased. He asked if I was going and I told him I would go only if he wanted me to because in reality I had no reason to be there since I never had a relationship with her. We went to the funeral and I thought that would be the end of it, but in the days and months after her passing he was really distraught. I know everyone grieves differently but he was mourning as if he was still deeply in love her. Keep in mind he hadn't spoke a word to her or seen her in 10 years and we had a child together and were married. It got to a point I was over it. And started to get a little angry with him. Fast forward 6 months later I found messages he sent to his ex's sister around the time of her passing, reminiscing the time he dated his ex. And at some point in those messages he says he regrets not getting back with her because their love was still there. I interpreted that as he regretting our entire relationship. Am I wrong? Or overthinking? I wonder if he has unwarranted guilt. Perhaps he feels that if he had gotten back together with the ex, then she wouldn't have died due to DV. He feels guilty for not being able to see into the future and saving her, maybe? It's silly, but it's the kind of dumb stuff that runs through your head when you're grieving. So, he's distraught over a relationship from the age of 14? That's a little absurd to me. You're completely right that his comment about not getting back with her is a huge problem. People need to stop being so obsessed about the idea of first love. The reason their relationship probably seemed so perfect was because he can barely remember it and neither of them had any responsibilities. It's natural to wonder now and again, what if concerning some past relationships, but this seems taken to an extreme. This is a conversation you knew to have about his motives. It could be an unwise sentiment he expressed in an unguarded moment or it could be what you're worrying about. Lol, he was 14. What? Tears of joy.